says it will call up 60,000 additional reservists as it wants to expand its military operation in Gaza City.
At least 14 people were wounded overnight on Wednesday in another large-scale Russian missile and drone attack on Ukraine. A fourth person has died in Italy from suspected botulism food poisoning, sparking concerns of a wider outbreak.
Israel says it will call up 60,000 additional reservists as it wants to expand its military operation in Gaza City. Additionally, they will also lengthen the service of 20,000 reservists currently serving. A military official speaking on condition of anonymity said that forces will be stationed in parts of Gaza City where the IDF has not yet operated and believes Hamas is still active. The call-up comes against a backdrop of a growing campaign of exhausted reservists. They are accusing the government of perpetuating the war for political reasons and failing to bring home the remaining hostages. Meanwhile, negotiators scramble to strike a ceasefire agreement between Hamas and Israel in an effort to end Israel's 22-month-long offensive in Gaza. Human rights groups have increasingly warned that the humanitarian crisis would further worsen in the Strip, where most residents have been displaced, vast neighborhoods lie in ruins, and communities face the threat of famine.
Syria's Foreign Minister Assad al-Shibani met with an Israeli delegation in Paris on Tuesday in an attempt to de-escalate tension in the region. The talks were brokered by the United States, who have been pushing for the two countries to normalize relations amid a recent surge of tensions between them. The meeting marks the first time Syria has acknowledged holding direct talks with Israel. The two also spoke about restoring a 1974 ceasefire agreement, which had established a buffer zone between Syria and Israel, according to Syria's state media. Shortly after former President Bashar al-Assad was overthrown, Israeli forces took control of the UN-patrolled buffer zone and have launched multiple strikes across the country since then, including on the Defense Ministry building in Damascus last month. Neither Syrian nor Israeli officials offered an official statement outlining details about what was said during the meeting.
NICAP member Mukhara, real name Liam O'Hannah, appeared in court in the UK on Wednesday over allegedly displaying a Hezbollah flag on stage at a show last November. Wednesday's appearance at the Westminster's Magistrate Court is the second for the Irish rapper, following an appearance on 18 June, after which he was released on unconditional bail. The 27-year-old rapper was greeted by crowds chanting "Free Mukhara" and waving Irish and Palestinian flags.
Whatever happens is going to be a positive result because we're not going away. We support Liam Oak, we support NICAP, we support Palestine. So the state have placed themselves in a stupid position. They can kick it down the road, make him come back again, and there'll be twice as many people here the next time.
His fellow band members also arrived at the court, according to local media reports. The NICAP have been a vocal supporter of Palestine in the Israel-Gaza conflict and sparked controversy for their repeated and defiant pro-Palestinian support during concerts and festivals. They have consistently denied supporting either Hamas or Hezbollah. Since Hezbollah was banned in the United Kingdom in 2019, it has been an offense to show support for the Iran-backed group.
At least 14 people, including 3 children, were injured when a series of Russian strikes hit the city of Otoka in the Sumy region in the early hours of Wednesday. Simultaneous attacks hit a number of locations, triggering fires in private homes, non-residential buildings, as well as several vehicles. All of the blazes were extinguished by firefighters and rescuers. The emergency service said rescuers managed to pull a woman alive from the rubble of one destroyed building. Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky said strikes also hit the regions of Chernihiv, Kharkiv and Poltava. The attacks come despite an uptick in diplomacy focused on efforts to end the war. Both Zelensky and Russian leader Vladimir Putin have met with US President Donald Trump in an attempt to secure a peace settlement. Trump has said he is open to the idea of joining European countries to provide security guarantees for Ukraine.
The EU and its allies must come up with practical solutions to provide Ukraine with security guarantees, according to European Council President Antonio Costa. Costa spoke at a virtual briefing with the coalition of the willing leaders, including Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen, following a Washington summit.
Now is the time to accelerate our practical work to put in place a guarantee similar to NATO's Article 5 with continued United States engagement. The coalition of willing should remain closely involved in this process. The Ukrainian armed forces will be the first line of defense. That is why we must enhance, reinforce, and unblock our military support to Ukraine.
European leaders have been cautiously optimistic about US-led efforts to bring forward a peace deal, but have reiterated concerns over Europe's ability to trust Russian President Vladimir Putin. Both Denmark and Finland's leaders said Tuesday that the Russian leader must show he's serious about a peace agreement. A breakthrough for Ukraine's European allies is Trump's commitment to participate in providing security guarantees for Ukraine. Trump on Tuesday, however, ruled out US boots on the ground in Ukraine and gave no specifics about US support in a post-war settlement. The UK has said a reassurance force headed by the UK and France would involve allies sending troops to non-contact areas. Ukraine's membership to the EU is also on the table as a safety card, although it is currently stalled by Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Despite an uptick in diplomacy around ending the war, Russia struck Ukraine overnight with a wave of missile and drone attacks from Monday into Tuesday. Residents of Kyiv held their breath as they closely watched meetings between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, US President Donald Trump and European leaders. During the summit in Washington, Trump expressed hope that he and Zelensky would soon hold talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, with the objective of ending Russia's war in Ukraine.
Ми, як кожен українець, сподіваємось, що кожні перемовини дадуть нам якийсь позитивний результат. Тому вчорашні перемовини – це був історичний момент. Я думаю, ми всі тримали кулаки і кожен свідомий українець слідкував.
Те, що це закінчення війни, я думаю, неможливо буде. Бо мені здається, якщо навіть і перемир'я в якомусь вигляді буде, це не закінчення війни. Бо це ворог, який не зупиниться на тому, на тих кордонах, які він зараз має.
Following the conclusion of the meetings, Trump phoned Putin to initiate the three-way talks. Moscow residents also reacted to the recent flurry of diplomacy, though some with skepticism.
Текущая конфликтная ситуация, она, конечно, изживет себя временем. Зависит ли от встречи с Трампом или не с Трампом, я не знаю. Но точно это пройдет, и точно мы придем к миру. Может быть, не очень скоро.
Я думаю, прежде чем не договорятся о технических моментах на тему обмена территории, этой встречи не будет. Как только уже будет согласие сторон, тогда все произойдет очень быстро, и мы будем.
Putin has demanded that Kyiv give up the Donbas, a region in eastern Ukraine that has seen some of the most intense fighting. However, Zelensky says that Ukraine ceding territory to Russia would be a springboard for future invasion.
A 62-year-old woman died in Sardinia on Tuesday after eating poisonous guacamole in Italy's fourth death from food poisoning in several weeks. Her death comes after another woman in Sardinia passed away after eating the same food. 2 children remain in hospital. An additional 2 people died in Calabria, with all victims showing signs of botulism, a rare but deadly illness caused by a toxin attacking the nervous system. Authorities have launched an investigation into the potential outbreak. Botulism is caused by eating improperly canned, preserved or fermented foods. In 2023, Italy recorded the highest number of botulism cases in Europe, with 36 confirmed reports. At least 37 people have been arrested in Spain for their alleged involvement in forest fires that have raged for weeks. 21 serious fires are active across the country despite a decrease in temperatures, with flames burning through land across several regions. On Tuesday, fires in Galicia ravaged small, sparsely populated towns, forcing locals to step in before firefighters arrived. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez visited the area, where he spoke on the 16-day heat wave that has fueled fires across the country. He blamed the impact of climate change for the destruction caused by the wildfires. Spain has seen a catastrophic wildfire season that has killed 4 people and burned through thousands of hectares of land. Protests on how best to manage the fires broke out in Leon, where hundreds of residents gathered to demand the central government help in combating the flames.
Finnish politician Emily Peltonen was found dead in the country's parliament building in Helsinki on Tuesday in what authorities believe was a suicide. The death of Peltonen, who was an MP of the Social Democratic Party, sent shockwaves through Finland's political sphere. The country's parliament is currently in summer recess, but Prime Minister Petteri Orpo suspended all political work on Tuesday as a mark of respect. He also held a minute of silence for Peltonen. The 30-year-old had been out of the political spotlight in recent weeks, and in June he announced that a kidney problem and subsequent infection had kept him away from work.